Aloha cousins, Brother626 here, and today we have a deck profile for you guys that is an Aquos, Darkus, and Ventus control deck, and they're all using Fangzor. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get into that deck profile. So we have our deck here. Of course, these are the three main Bakugan I'll be using, which is the Aquos Fangzor, the Darkus Fangzor, and the Ventus Fangzor. So yeah, so of course not the Ventus, but the Aquos Fangzor. Of course, he has to have the red Fire Fist and the green fist to use him. 600 B power and 1 damage. Now he is a little bit on the low on the damage, but the B power is really good. He's kind of like the one I would save towards the end, just so I can make sure I can get that that good B power in, so I make sure I have a high enough B power. But it really doesn't matter, because, you know, hey, he's 1, and you're not really going to be worrying about B power and damage anyway, because you're going to be controlling what your opponent does. Then we have, of course, the Darkus Fangzor here, which is 2 green fist, 400 B power, and 3 damage, so not too bad. He's probably like the one I would start off with the most. And the reason being too is because he also gets Shadow Strike. Shadow Strike, what that does is doesn't let you, your B power or your damage does not get reduced. So they can't use Toxify or Venom or whatever the other cards that reduces your B power or reduces your damage. So they take exactly 3 damage every time, unless if you evolve them or you add even more damage to them. They're going to be taking that damage no matter what, which is really good there. So yeah, so he's a really good one there. And then we have the Ventus Fangzor, which is the 2 orange, the orange shield there, or not 2 orange, but it's the orange shield and the Fire Fist. 300 B power, so a little less than the Darkus Fangzor, but it does 3 damage, so the exact same amount of damage as the Darkus Fangzor. Now, when it opens, your opposing Bakugan takes 1 less damage. So they'll be taking 1 less damage of whatever they have. So if they, for an example, Fangzor Aquos, he would be at 0 damage, so you wouldn't be doing any damage. So which is really nice there, so it kind of helps reduce that damage going through, so you take less damage going on. Of course, like I said, the whole point of this deck is just to control your opponent, so they either can't take damage, or you don't take damage, or you're dealing damage and they can't stop it. It's the main point of the whole deck. Now, of course, going on with the cores that we have is the green fist here, plus or 150 B power, and then 2 damage, so that's a basic one there, and we have 2 of those. Then our third green fist is going to be 100 B power, and then if you're Darkus or Aquos, plus 3 damage. So that's going to give that extra 3 damage to your Aquos and Darkus Bakugan, which is really good. Of course, it gives them that B power boost as well, but the damage boost is really what you want more of. Then we have the Fire Fist, which is 150 B power and plus 4 damage. So that's going to give you, like I said, that more damage, so to get you higher up there anyway. Then of course we run 2 of those, and then our shield, we have the plus 400 B power if you're only Darkus or Aquos, which are of course the 2 here, and that helps you get that high B power as well, so you can go in and try to at least win a couple battles as well. So we're going to go ahead and put those in the back here. Let's go ahead and look at our cards. We're going to put the Fangzors in the back, stick that right there. So our first cards that we have are the Evo cards, and of course we run the Hyper Fangzor Ventus here. For 2 energies, gets the 400 B power, and then 6 damage, so which is really good, get that 6 damage in. The B power doesn't go up too high, I mean it only goes from 3 to 4, but his ability, of course, is when it opens, the opposing Bakugan takes -3 damage. So instead of taking 1 damage, it does -3, so which is really good there to get you that, of course, to get the extra or minus damage on you, so you can take less damage, which is really good. Then we have the Darkus one, Darkus Hyper Fangzor. 4 energies, 900 B power, really good B power, and then he does 5 damage. So he does get a little bit of a boost for the damage and the B power as well. And of course he keeps the Shadow Strike ability, which is really good. So they can't reduce your B power or your damage on whatever it takes, so which is really good as well. Then of course the Hyper Fangzor and Aquos for 4 energies, 1000 B power, so the highest B power that we have so far. 3 damage, a little on the low end, but that's okay. But when you do play this, you get to draw 3 cards. So drawing your cards is going to be really good, especially in this deck. Even though you can only have a max of 7 cards at the end of your turn, that's still going to be really good to have nonetheless. to get those 3 cards so you can play them with that turn if you need to, which is really good. Now, of course, they did change those rules where you have to have 7 cards in your hand. Can't have any more by the end of the turn. If so, then you have to discard them. Then, of course, we have our other cards. We're going to go ahead and move these out of the way, though, real quick. Get those out of the way. Then we have our 0 cost cards that we have, and we only have 2 of those, and that is Toxify. Now, Toxify, what it does is it minuses 3 damage. So you take 3 less damage to whatever you need to do. So if you have a Bakugan that does 3 damage to you, well, guess what? Drop the Toxify, you take 0 damage now, so which is really good. A good early turn 1 play if you don't win the battle that first turn, so which is really good there. So that is our 1 energy cost. Then we have our 0 energy. Now we have our 1 energy cost, which is Venom Blast here. Similar to the Toxify, but the Venom Blast does 4 damage instead of just 3. But you get that 1 energy cost, so which is perfectly fine. That's actually a really good, taking 4 damage less is really good for 1 energy. Especially, like I said, turn 1 energy, drop that down, you take less damage, really good as well. So just in case you don't lose anything, so you don't lose like cards that turn. Then we have our next 1 energy cost, which is Nature's Power. What this is going to do is a 1 energy, of course, and then it gives a non-Ventus Bakugan minus 500 B powers. So you can pick any Bakugan on the field, yours or your opponent's, and they take 500 less B power. So which is really good. That's going to help you get those wins easy. That's why it doesn't really matter if you have that low B power boost or even the B power in general. You have like this type of stuff to help reduce your opponent's B power and the reduce their damage. So you're taking either less damage, or you're going to be dealing them more damage, or at least winning a battle so you can deal them damage. Whichever way is possible. So yeah, that's the whole point of that. And then, of course, our next 1 energy cost, we have our Darkus card, which is Wither here, and that is 2 cards of Wither. I only run 2 because, of course, it is the 1 energy cost, and you only minus 3. Now, I could run another, what is it, Venom? Or not Venom, I'm sorry, what is it, Toxify. I could run another Toxify in there instead of the Wither, but I wanted to keep the kind of Darkest cards in there, because, I mean, only running like 3 Darkness cards is not that like great. So it's just to run a Darkest Bakugan, it's not all that. So I kind of want to run a couple more Darkest cards. That's why I only run 2 of these. So yeah, so there's that one. Then, of course, our next 1 energy cost cards is Tides. Now, this is going to be our only card that boosts our B power. I know, only boosts our B power. It's the only card, yes. Of course, 200 B power boost, pretty good. But Flow, if you add or play another card that turn, you get another 400 B power boost instead of 200. So basically, you can play a Wither, or you can play the minus 500. Nature's what is it? Nature's, can't even think of it now. Nature's Power. And then you can play Tides, and it gets you that extra B power in there. Even though you're probably going to win by letting them minus 500, you know, hey, but it's still there anyway. Then, of course, we have our next 2 energy cost cards, which is Turn 2 Energy. Of course, you can play 2 energies and put this card uncharged in your energies. Now, which is really good. Now, of course, you really don't want to activate this like on your first turn. It really wouldn't be good for that. I mean, not your first turn, but when you kind of like starting out the turn, you want to wait to use this on your last turn, just so you can use it to energize your cards and go through it that way. Of course, the priority and the turns kind of will change after you play that card. So like after battle, if you have priority, you can play it. So yeah, that's the only thing I will say about it. So you kind of have to know when to play it, is the only thing. You just can't just play it right off the bat. You have to know when to play it. Then, of course, our next 2 energy cost cards is Piercing Scream. So this is going to minus 400 B power. Now, it's a little low or a little high cost for the other one, because I know Nature's Power was only minus 500 to a non-Ventus Bakugan. Now, of course, this can do it to Ventus Bakugan, but it's only 400 instead of 500. So it's a little pricier, but it's still a good card nonetheless to help get you, making sure you kind of win those battles there to get those 2 damage in. Then, of course, I run 1 Curse of Darkus. Curse of Darkus is going to help me take less damage, minus 2 damage, but if you sacrifice discard a card, then you basically minus 10 damage. So which is really good there to take off that 10 damage, especially for 2 energies. So you can go in, they try to do a team attack, you can play Toxify, you can play Venom Blast, and then you can play Curse of Darkus and discard a card, and you can be taking like 0 damage from a team attack. Yeah, I know, right? Team attack is going to be huge, and you take 0 damage. That's going to be good for you. Of course, you might be minusing cards, but that's okay. Alrighty, so I messed up here. Basically, when you were supposed to do a team attack and you're trying to minus damage, Curse of Darkus wouldn't work for the full team attack. So if they're doing a full team attack of, let's say, 21 cards, and you use Curse of Darkus, discard a card, and minus 10, so that'd make it 11. Sadly, that won't work. It only works when on the attacking Bakugan. So if only the attacking Bakugan that they opened up that turn only does 5 damage, then you'd be only taking the 5 damage off. You wouldn't be taking that full 10. So whatever they have off, minus basically 21 minus 5, whatever that is, you'd be taking the rest of that damage. So yeah, that's basically how it works. I messed up there. Then, of course, our other Aquos cards for our 2 energy cost is Fixation. Now, this is a really good card. Fantastic card. I absolutely love this card. For 2 energies, retract a Bakugan that did not open this turn. So basically, let's say if your opponent has ready for a team attack. They just opened up their 3rd Bakugan, your guys are battling. I can go Fixation and take one of your Bakugan and say goodbye and retract it and put it back in ball form. And, you know, hey, there you go. They can't play that team attack anymore because now their team attack is completely done. They can't do any more damage besides what that one Bakugan has. And they'd be like, oh man, I'm powering it up. I'm doing all this stuff and powering it up so you can do this. And you just go Fixation. Retract that Bakugan that didn't open up the turn. Yeah, that one there. Yeah. That's going to be put up, so no team attack for you. And they'll be like, oh man, I can't do that much damage. I thought you had the game. So it's a really good card. I like running 3 in this deck. Of course, it's a control deck, so you kind of have to run 3. Then, of course, Liquid Strike. Now, this card is kind of like a iffy card here. I may play another card, but I like the whole Frost Strike effect. That's really the reason why I'm playing this card, is if you do get the that damage in and you got to play and you need to make sure that you deal that damage in, Liquid Strike is going to do really good. For 2 energies, they plus 3 Frost Strike to your Bakugan. What that's going to do is their flip cards are going to cost 3 extra energies. So if they had a, let's say, Block Outsiders, that's going to do, instead of just 3 energies to play that, you're going to have to pay 6 energies to play that. And they will only have 4 energies to play that card. So they basically can't stop that attack. So which is really good for you. So Liquid Strike is a really good card. I like it, of course, like I said, that Frost Strike, just to make sure you can keep getting in that damage. And then, of course, can't play this card, or basically control deck, without Triple Cannon Blast. Now, it is a 3 energy cost, which is fine, but it negates an action card. And now you can play this whenever you want. This is not taking over priority of anything. When your opponent plays a card, you just go with, boom, Triple Blast Cannon, and it just negates it, which is really good there. So you don't have to worry about the priority thing switching back and forth of I can't play this card and get the priority. I can just play this card, negate whichever one I want, negate it, and play it that way, which is really good there. So you don't have to worry about priority there. So those are all the action cards that I use in the deck. Quite a few in there, and of course a lot of them are just to raise that B power, or not raise the B power, but to minus the B power and minus the damage, so you are not taking damage or you are dealing even more damage. So stuff like that. So we have our flip cards here. So for our first one, we have Repel Outsiders. For 2 or 3 energies, stop a non-Ventus Bakugan. Pretty simple, kind of like a staple in Ventus decks. Then we have the Cease Outsiders. Same type of concept, but stop Darkus Bakugan, or non-Darkus Bakugan, which is really good for 3 energies. And then we have Counter Outsiders, stop non-Aquos Bakugan. So which is a good one as well. Another kind of staple that you would put in a water deck. Then we have our last 2 cards here of the deck. We're going to ahead and put those to the side. Our last 2 cards is Winton Styles. Now, Winton Styles is a fantastic hero card. Every time you open a Bakugan, you can take the top card of your deck and put it into your energy. And you can just energize that top card of your deck. Now, when you have 15 energies in there, you get a plus 1,500 B power, which is amazing. If you can get 15 energies in your energy cards, that would be awesome. Then you can just basically, you're winning every battle going through, and they have to add 1,500 B power to their Bakugan to do anything. And you pull that off, they ain't going to do that. It's guaranteed they're not going to. So it's really good. Now, of course, you energize the top card. That's good and bad at the same time. This is just so that you can play more of your cards, so that you can like stop the play more of your counter cards, so you stop the damage. You can add B power, minus the B power, plus damage, all that type of stuff. Play your Evo cards, more Evo cards at once, all that type of stuff. This is just so you can do it that way. Now, of course, I run 2 of them, so which is good. I don't know if I want to reduce it down to 1 or 2. I'm kind of sticking with the 2 because the 2 seems consistent with the deck, which works really good for that. So yeah, so that is our Aquos, Darkus, and Ventus control deck. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you click that like button down below and show your support to this channel. And if you're new, go ahead and click that subscribe button and become a cousin in our family. Remember, Ohana means family, and family means no one gets left behind or forgotten. And I will see y'all next time. Bye!